Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Tuesday topic here on Patreon. Let's discuss Sandro Ramirez, the man we can't shift permanently. Looks like he's going on. Looks like he's going on loan.
Yeah, again
to Rayo Vallecano. That's how they say it.
Even though it's Rayo Vallecano.
That's how they say it.
I mean, you were going Vallecano.
No, I wasn't. You never go full Vallecano.
No, never.
Is this the worst deal in Everton's history? This player the worst deal?
Is it worse than Van der Meijden?
I don't know. I mean, that is the question I'm asking.
That is the question. It's not great, is it? For what we pay, we pay 5.2 million for him,
which is nothing
really. Obviously, he's on big wages, and that complicates everything. Then, of course, for what we've had out of him, full of games, 10, 15 games, whatever, and the rest of the time he's been on loan. You know, we had a little go last pre-season and you thought, new manager, maybe the manager will find a way to use him. Wasn't to be. Went off to Sociedad, didn't score a goal. Season ended, they didn't want him. You're thinking he's going to turn back up at Finch Farm. You know. But obviously Marcel Brands has been trying to get some of these players out the door.
Yeah.
And he's not had to board the plane and come back to Finch Farm.
Yeah.
This time, Everton have been able to do a deal earlier. So when you look at it like that, it will go down as one of our worst deals financially wise in terms of wages, won't it? Because he's done nothing for us. You know,
he has literally done nothing.
You know, he was brought in as a player who was full of hope, and he was a young star, you know, done well at Malaga, ex-Barcelona, you know, and we looked at him and thought, he looks like he works hard, he looks like he could play off a front man or play wide, and I don't know whether the league's too quick for him or whether... I think the difficult thing to wonder about him was that one season at Malaga, was that an anomaly?
Yeah.
Did he just have everything his own way that year?
Yeah.
Or is he just a player now who's been stripped of all his confidence because he come here for a big move, for him moving countries and everything on big money, and it hasn't worked as his confidence? You know, don't forget he went to Seville and played in the Champions League, played against United in the Champions League and done all right. You know, they think they got to the quarters that year or whatever. It's just not happened for him, has it?
No, he's it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because I think this is where, and don't want to like be sitting here like continuing to bang the drum for Marcel Brands, but I think this is the difference about knowing how to do your job against someone who doesn't. I think when we went to buy him, you've seen the pictures of Koeman and Walsh rocking up to watch him playing for Malaga. So straight away, it's not like any secret.
No.
We identified him, and we wanted to get this player who's playing in the Spanish under-21s, and he was playing in the Euros for that. And there was a lot of noise and a lot of hype about him. He'd scored a lot of goals for Malaga, and we were thinking with Lukaku going out the door and stuff, we needed to get a replacement in. So there was this, and it was also a summer of like everyone we went for, we got. So it was this idea of like, well, we're not missing out on this fella. We're just going to keep that going. We're going to do what we want. And it was key. It looks key to me that they didn't actually know what they were doing in terms of going after the player, because there was a lot of noise at the time that Real Madrid were going to come in for him and Athletic Madrid and
well, Athletic Madrid did want him.
No, but I think the point being is that that's the point, is that other teams wanted him maybe, and other teams where there was a lot of smoke getting blown around to help. And I think I'm not saying we got nervous, we just flexed our muscles and went out and given what an agent probably said. And the agent might have just been like, we'll just...
Seth Johnson.
and has like unbelievably found that Everton have been willing to give it, and that's the difference. I think with Brands in charge, Brands would know exactly what other clubs were offering, or even if they didn't know what they were offering, wouldn't be prepared to pay more than he thought someone was worth.
No.
And I think that's the difference. Whereas at that time, we just got Machiri just come in, and it hadn't been in long, and it was a case of just spend the money. It doesn't matter, just spend the money.
And wealth,
just spend the money. And we've put ourselves in a situation where we haven't thought about it long term. We've just thought, this is the play we need, this is the play we want, and we'll throw everything. And I think this is why we are where we are with a player like him. You can't listen. There's nothing against the player at all. I watched them last season, pre-season. And I don't think anyone worked as hard as him pre-season last season. I'll genuinely believe that. He played so many games, and he played on the right-hand side because we had nobody else to play. Theo Walcott was injured for the entire pre-season. And obviously Bernard wasn't available, and Richarlison was starting off more on the left. And he worked very hard, and it was like, as soon as pre-season was over, it was like it was like that. It was like, thanks, but no thanks. I sneezed for both occasions.
There you go.
It was like, thanks, but no thanks. And we moved them on. And so I can't fault that lad, because he did work really hard. I do think he wanted to give it a go. It's just that we had other plans. So I do firmly put it into the court of Walsh and Koeman. So, and I just don't think we'll repeat those mistakes again.
No, I don't think they I think it's quite evident they didn't have a plan as such, did they? I understand why he took the chance on him. I understand why he wanted to gamble on him. We all wanted it. If we'd have lost them, everyone would have been kicking off. We lost Rom. We thought we were getting some goals back in with this kid. And he was a hot prospect. But I don't think we handled it very well. We gave him the number 9 shirt, put him, get him in, and he's your main striker kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? And it was like easy. All of a sudden, this kid's coming in, is your number 9. Pressure's on him. We played him right from the off. We just didn't allow him to breathe a little bit into the club.
I think that for me it was the Chelsea game that was mad. That game where he was clearly not fit.
Oh, away. Yeah. We brought him, put him up. Yeah, because Dom had played well and he left Dom out.
And we'd rushed him back, and Dom had played well in Split and against City. And then we rushed him back, and it was like there was no need. There was an international break. He could have had a couple of weeks break, no game, and we played him, and he looked well off. And it was like that was like the beginning of the slide.
The doubt, in, didn't it?
Like he didn't get a kick all day. He really didn't, and that was like the beginning of it. And then he got it, and then I don't know if it was that injury that got worse, or he got another injury, things just started to get on top of him. And
the just games went by then, didn't he? We got beat at home 3-0 by Tottenham. He almost scored early on, but then wasn't in the game, and then we went to Atlanta. And the games were passing by each week, and he was becoming less and less effective in games. Whereas when you think of like the Stoke game, day one, he was involved in the goal, and he was all right. He went up front, and he was when him and Calvert-Lewin were up front together second half. Remember, and Rooney just dropped.
Him and Rooney and him behind.
He just looked like he had something. And then you were in Europe when we seen him. He looked like he was a little live wire, and you were like, this kid works hard. He just needs to calm down a bit. He was like,
that was the thing.
He was like erratic, snatching at things, like he needed a goal. But then that all dissipated, and then remember Allardyce played him or brought him on for a half against Chelsea at home at Christmas and put him on the right wing. When we drew 0-0, he put him on at half time, and you were like, all right. And he ran his heart out. He just didn't really get into the game, and you were like, we don't know how to use him. And every game that goes by is a game where his confidence is being sapped over it, to the point where he become a waste of time for us, really. And he needed a game. And I suppose when he went out to Seville, There was, let him get some games under his belt back in Spain. He might get a couple of goals. He might pick his confidence up. They'll either come in and pay and buy him, or he'll come back with a little bit of renewed vigour.
Yeah, I watched him a little bit last season. Only a couple of times. He came off the bench a couple of times for Sociedad, and seen him in the new camp, and he was just... You know what he looked like? He looked like someone in his late 20s. Who was struggling for a move, like trying to almost secure a move. I tell you what I find slightly strange about it, though, about the whole thing, is that he's a lad who financially, this move has probably got him set for the rest of his life. And he's still got 10 years left of his career. And yet he doesn't play with any kind of freedom, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like if you were a 29, 28-year-old and you were worried about your next club and you were only getting a few minutes here and there, I can understand that worry. But this is a lad who's 23. I think he is.
Yes, 23.
Right? Financially
secure.
You know, this is a fella who gets Delta taxis to the match. He's all right. He's going to be all right. And that doesn't, you know, when I seen him, he just looked like he just come on. I don't know. It's almost like it could go either way. Like you've got money, so you don't care at all. But then it's almost like, well, I don't know. I wanted to see him just come on and be a bit more free, and he wasn't. He just ambled on and run around a little bit, and it's like this move. All right, this move might have jaded you, but you've still got plenty of your career left. You know, when the time's right, you know, even when his contract's up, he'll be 25. You know, and he'll be set. But then he can go and have a good career at a club, probably, you know, maybe in a year or two when they work out a severance package.
Well, he's got a season now, a Valladolid to prove himself, hasn't he? He's going there pre-season. Right, so
club owned by Ronaldo, by the way.
Is it?
R9.
There you go. So he's sending some videos to watch. So he's going there from day one, pre-season. So there's no excuses about not being able to integrate and all that. You know, last year he done his pre-season with us and we got rid of him near the end of the transfer window, the European transfer window. Because he even played the night before. He went for us and set a goal up against Rotherham, didn't he? Yeah. So he'll be going, and day one he'll be in with the lads, and hopefully he'll be able to integrate in with the Valladolids. And hopefully he'll be able to feel part of the team, and he'll get a little bit of confidence back. Because I want him to do well for himself. No. A, so that we can sell him. But B, just for himself, because a lad who's like, when I've seen him, and I seen him a couple of times last season, he looked like he had the weight of the world on his shoulders. It was like, he was coming off the bench, and it was almost like, he just looked depressed.
I mean, he didn't score against the Farmers, come on.
No, but no one worked as hard as him.
No, I mean, I suppose that's his story of his time at Everton, is that he worked hard most of the time. He just hasn't been able to score any kind of goals, and maybe going somewhere like this, where, I mean, he went to Seville, good side, like you said, playing the Champions League, and then he went to Sociedad, and now he's going to like almost like another run down. So we've played like in a team that would challenge for Europe, now a team maybe mid-table that was trying to creep into Europe, and now a team that's probably playing in the bottom half of the table. So maybe the expectations will be less, and maybe that's where, and being able to play and being the striker, where he'll be able to, because when he was at Seville, he wasn't really playing that much either.
No, he was sub, wasn't he?
You know, when he was at Sociedad, he didn't play that much, really.
No, well, I had thingy, didn't he? The Brazilian, William Jose, didn't he, up front, who was their main striker. Maybe
going to somewhere like this, being the starting striker, and playing week in, week out, like you just said, then I've had a pre-season, being at home, feeling wanted. The wages he's getting from Everton will help, and he can just get on with it. And listen, you can't. There's no redeeming features about this transfer. We're never gonna reclaim any of this money that we've spent on him. It's gone. There's no point being like, no point thinking. I don't think anyone does think it. Actually thinking, oh well, we need to do this or we need to do that. We're never, ever, ever going to make money on this player. We're never going to get the money back we spent on this player. We're going to take a huge loss on this player. It's just, I mean, it'd be nicer if we could just come up with something. But clearly, the lad probably just thinks, well, you sign me. Why should I? You know, I was prepared to come and sign for you when I was 21, when I had a few clubs chasing me. You were prepared to play the money in relation to that. You thought I was worth the money. You give me the number 9 shirt. You played me first game of the season. You heaped that pressure on me. You know, that's.
I think from his perspective, I mean, and why should he take a pay cut? Why should he? Yeah. Think you know, he's only not even halfway through his contract yet. So for him, I don't know what his long-term plans are. I don't know whether he thinks I'm going to go and smash it in Spain and come back and prove it. I think he probably thinks I'd rather just get a club in Spain and stay there. I don't know. He needs to find his best position. You know, I'm not sure he's a through-the-middle centre-forward. I think at Malaga he played across the three. A lot of his goals he was cutting in off the left-hand side and scoring. So he needs to get his position sorted in a team and play and score a few goals. For Everton, he's not off the wage bill because quite clearly they're not going to be paying him the money we're paying him. But a chunk of his salary is off the wage bill. And that frees up from an Everton perspective. If he's on £100,000 a week, and Valladolid pay him £40,000 a week at that, or £35,000 a week, it's a wage for Everton, isn't it? It's a player's wage, isn't it? That's what we have to look at it. Ideally, you would sell him. Seen people on another loan. Why don't we just sell him? Well, where's the bias? Who's going to come in and pay money for him? If he does well this season and gets 10 or 15 goals, then next summer, people will be prepared to pay money for him. At the moment, he ain't scored a goal since he scored for us against Atlanta. That's the last goal he scored, November 2016 or something it was, or 2017, wasn't it? So 2 years, almost without a goal, and he's a striker. You know, so for him, he needs to start putting the ball in the net, and for people to almost be reminded and go, well, actually, he's all right. It was just confidence. Look, he's back. Yeah. And then clubs may be prepared to go, well, we'll give you £10 million for him, or whatever, and then Everton can chase him. At this moment, it's about getting him back on in the shop window almost. For him, it's a confidence thing.
I think the scenario which would be the most likely is that if he has a good season in terms of, I mean, he might necessarily be scoring a lot of goals, but if he does well
enough for them,
if he does well enough for them, they might come to Everton and say, we'll give you
5 million.
5, 6, 7, 8 million.
Doesn't matter, does it?
And then he says, you know what? I've done all right out of this. Now's the time to get on with my career. I really enjoyed playing here this year, and I want to stay. I feel part of the team. I'm prepared now to take a chunk, a massive chunk. I've earned a lot of money.
Well, if he doesn't ask for a transfer, he'll get a bonus payment as well. So he's not going to be.
He's not going to be in the poorhouse,
no,
is he?
No.
So I think that would be the most likely. But that comes down to him. That if he doesn't score goals, then
and perform,
then he's not. You know,
if you're him, you must be thinking like, I've got to get my head down now. This is my chance now to, like you said, the expectation levels each year have dropped.
I'll be honest, right? If he has a pre-season for them, like he had a pre-season for us, I'd be very excited if I was a fan of them. I really would. If I watched, I remember going back 12 months and I remember watching him pre-season. I remember a lot of people asking the question, well, can he do this for us? Wonder if he'll be part, because he played it, because a lot of people, I think because he played every game basically, a lot of people were thinking he had a part to play, and really it was a simple case of we didn't have the numbers, we had no one to play on the right, and he was a lad who,
I wouldn't have been gutted if he'd have been in R18. I wouldn't, honestly. No. Certainly up to Christmas and things like, imagine throwing him on with 15 minutes to go and stuff. He works that hard. I think he probably could have done all right.
I think the way the manager looked at it as well was, this lad will cause me no trouble. He'll cause me no trouble. No. Like some Morales, he'll cause me trouble. I'm not giving him a chance on the right, but I'll give this lad a chance because he works his arse off for me, and I'll do that. And it was almost like at the end of pre-season, the reward was getting the loan for him. Getting right, you want to go back to Spain? We'll sort that out for you. Don't worry. You've done us some. You've showed to us that you were prepared to work hard for us. We're gonna get you out the door. So from that point of view, I've got no problem with him. And as I say, if someone, if one of their fans or someone come to us now and said, "Oh,
What's he like?
What's he like? I go, well, fucking hell, he'll work hard for you. He'll put a shift in for you.
If he can just get his confidence back, you've got a player. You'll have a player then.
Yeah, let him, he'll work hard for you if you give him a chance.
Yeah.
And then hopefully that little bit of quality will flow. But, as I say, I mean, in terms of, like, is he the biggest sort of flop in terms of money, then he's up there, you're right. Like, I mean, the likes of Van der Meijden, I mean, that was all circumstance, wasn't it? A lot of it. We give him a lot of money very quickly because we were in the Champions League.
We paid $4.5 million for him, and that was a decent amount of money at that time.
He had issues off the pitch, which anyone who's been following his career must have been aware of. You know.
Well, we gambled, didn't we?
But then when we tried to get him out on loan, he obviously had issues with his daughter, and he was like, "Well, she's in all the hay." So it really was.
It was a nightmare.
It was a big. It came down to a big sort of big chain of events. He was like, "My daughter's sick. She's in the best hospital in Europe. I'm not going anywhere." So from that point of view, that was a massive one. But
I'd say he's the worst.
Yeah.
I would, just because he was on big money at the time. We weren't paying big money, so relatively he was on very good money. Yeah. And we paid $4.5 million for him, which is twice as much almost as we paid for Arteta and everything. And I think he played 29 games for Everton in 5 seasons. So I know Sandro's probably played about 15 for us, but he would be one, whereas Sandro, $5 million, relatively speaking.
Yeah,
it's not being a great example of how to do business.
I just don't think we'll ever get another. I don't think we'll.
Bolassi's another one, isn't he?
Yeah.
Bolassi's another one. But again, no, but that's circumstance.
That's circumstance again, though, isn't it? With his knee, up till his knee, he was all right. He was doing okay. He wasn't all right. Well, not everyone's cup of tea, but he was doing okay.
He was effective.
Yeah,
and it 5 assists at Christmas.
And it wasn't like he was again trying not to.
You know what? I liked Balassi in the first half of that. I thought, we've got a player here who causes problems. He's good. We haven't got anyone like that. He was quick. All right, he was annoying sometimes with his step overs, but he had a good partnership at team at Rom.
Yeah,
he was a powerhouse.
I remember.
And he got injured.
I think we both said at the time we thought that was it. We thought his career was.
Oh well, it was a terrible injury. It wasn't just a bad injury. It was one where they were like, we don't know whether he'll play. Dinted his bone. So the fact is that he's playing back at a high level, doing well, doing all right. It's a testimony to him.
And even when we brought him back, he came back. He came back far too early.
Well, he did said himself, didn't he? But that's what I'm saying about, I suppose, we're using Sandro as like the starting point of this, but the whole thing is, we're still suffering from that summer, aren't we? Yeah. We're suffering from it. We bought Davy Klaassen for 24 million, sold him for 13 a year later to get him out. Yeah. All of those, you know, you look through those buys, not all of them, because Jordan Pickford, I think, has been an excellent buy. I think Michael Keane's been an excellent buy. You know, Dominic Calvert-Lewin was brought to the club and has come through and done well. You know, I'm trying to think of other players they bought. Gylfi Sigurdsson was fantastic last season. Still okay. We paid a lot of money for him, but he was excellent last year. And the thing with Gylfi is, he could probably do this job for another 3 or 4 years, because he's not like he's got pace to lose. He hasn't got any pace, but he's very, very intelligent and works hard. So, Garner, another fantastic signing. Okay, Ashley Williams was a nightmare. So, it's almost like a 50-50. I mean, that's the one that fucking pisses me off more than any, because he is absolutely not good enough to play for Everton.
It's the length of the contract that amazes me.
3 years with...
you know what's mad about him, though? I was looking at his stats the other day, right? He played nearly every game for PSV last season.
No.
It was only the last game of the season he was left out.
He went to Feyenoord.
Feyenoord, sorry. Every game he played.
He did. He played from Christmas. They were saying in March they were signing him. But I think, don't get me wrong, he could probably go somewhere and be all right as a right back. I'm not talking top level, but he could go and do a job for people. He's an attacking right back. I don't think he's good enough for what we're doing, and I don't think he ever was. And Koeman brought him in to be a snitch, or to be someone who he knew he was getting. But 3 years was nonsense, and he's another one. But I just think for the amount of players they brought in, it's almost been like a 50-50 split. 50% worked and 50% haven't. And if you're looking at brands, he's got rid of Wayne Rooney. They made that decision. I mean, I still think Wayne did all right for us. Yeah. But he's the top scorer. So Wayne wasn't a disaster at all. He done well. They've got rid of him. Vlasic is gone already. Davy Klaasen's gone already. Ashley Williams' contract ran out and they couldn't wait to get rid of him. They just loaned Sandro out again. They're trying to get rid of Cuco Martina. They're trying to get... not trying to, but I think if they could get Cenk Tosun out, they would, of that era. Do you know what I mean? I think if they could sell Theo Walcott, they would, of that era. So I think, there's 8 off the top. Balassi would probably go.
Not every single one of those players, though, is down to they want to get rid of because of the financial situation or whatever. They just don't suit the way.
If it's say Walcott and Tosun out of it, they're different. They come in and done us a job when we needed it. And they both work hard, they're both good lads. They'll both probably be part of the squad this season unless bids come in for them. So take them 2 out of it. I'm just saying Everton will probably get rid of them. But out of the ones that those 2 brought in over a period of time, you're talking Pickford, Keane, Garner. It's like 5, isn't it? The rest's guilty. The rest have been moved on. And others were trying, like Balassi, because of the wages he's on, but trying to move him out. Another big issue for us, and this has got nothing to do with Koeman and Walsh, was Morales, of course, given another contract when it should never have happened. So he's another one, but he's a slightly different, and I think him and Martin are slightly different because they've got a year left on the contract. So I think something will happen with them too.
I think they're both.
I honestly think Morales will go back to Belgium. I know there's a couple of clubs sniffing around them. I think Everton will. The minute they can, will push him off to Belgium. Martin, that'll probably be bounced off to Holland.
If someone for both of those players, if Everton can convince somebody to pay their wages for a year
just take
on loan,
and
there's no transfer fee involved,
just let them go.
Then they're done. That suits Everton.
Yeah, oh God, yeah.
Because they wouldn't expect to get a fee for Adam, but if you can get those wages off on loan, then I think everyone will be happy.
I think the other pair, we spoke about, or have we? I don't know whether we have. Maybe we just spoke off camera. But Brendan Galloway's about to go out the door to Luton Town.
Strange one.
On a free transfer. I think he still had a year left or something on his deal. Player who come very highly rated. Everton had a little bit of a problem and he got him because his agents kind of done the diddly on MK Dons when we got him, but he was that highly rated. He's got the new John Stones and this, that and the other. And he was in our first team, and the next minute he's out the door. Like you said, I think you said to me before, we bought him as a centre. His idea was to play centre-back. He's never played it. Yeah. So he's one going out the door. Luke Garbutt's another one who I think Everton will just give to Oxford. Everton will just say, he's got a year left. So I think Everton will say to Oxford, listen.
He was another one, wasn't he?
But we got
in trouble for him as well.
I'm sure he's on 25 grand a week. So I think if Everton can...
I think the penny might have dropped with him actually though, because... looking on his Instagram the other day, as you do, and he's been training in the summer with people who've been training with Sylvain Distant. Sylvain Distant's been doing all these kind of triathlons and all kind of...
For Clare House. Looks like him.
Distant put a picture up of him on one side.
And Joshua.
He'd batter Joshua.
Yeah, he would.
Firmly batter Joshua. And that Reyes.
Body looks amazing.
And yeah, Galloway's been working with them. And with
Garbutt,
Garbutt's been... Galloway should go and work with them. Yeah. Garbutt's been working with them, and so maybe the penny's finally dropped for him.
But he's 26.
Very good. That
left foot's fantastic. Got 4 goals last season for Oxford.
I remember watching at Wolfsburg and thinking, this is the lad who replaces Baines.
Yeah, I remember.
And then Martin has done one of his mad brain farts and didn't play him on the Sunday against Spurs.
And then just...
And then give him a 5-year deal. Sent him to
Fulham and he
broke his leg.
So that's it. But he's another one who, if they can get him out as well, that's another. That's $1 million, $100,000 a month wages back in. So there's a few of them, and they were not all Walsh and Koeman. But I think what we're saying is because of the likes of Marcel Brands now, because there is a plan in place, it means that you protect yourself more against these kind of deals. And I know we done the Daily Live yesterday, and you were talking about Aubameyang. Well, he would be one you would throw money at. Not saying Everton could get him, but we were just talking about that, weren't we? And he would be one you'd throw money at because you'd know that you were going to get goals back off him. Whereas someone like Sandro Ramirez was a little bit of a flip of a coin. He was a young lad coming from a different country, not physically cut out for the Premier League. Yes, hard working, doesn't mind running around. But I think if he'd have been 6 foot, say, coming in, he'd have dealt with it probably a bit different.
What's most frustrating about someone like Galloway is, though, maybe Garbutt to an extent as well, when you think about where they are now, and Sancho falls into this as well. When you think about where they are now, if they'd been given a career path when they come to the club, they could have come into the team squad very quietly, built themselves up, physically, mentally, everything, and then got themselves into the... But all of them, maybe not Garber to a lesser extent, but Galloway and Sandro, both straight into the team, both into the team, and then tail off and then just go. Whereas they should... I know Galloway went to West Brom, didn't he? And then he went to Sunderland. And that's what's probably always tempered my idea of the loans, is those kind of things. Whereas maybe if they'd had a plan while they were at the club, someone had said something like, we've got a 3-year plan for you this season, a little bit like John Stones, come into the club. Absolutely nothing was said. I mean, it was like, what, we're buying some kid from Barnsley, left alone literally for 6 months. And then you get to the turn of the year and it's like he's going to make his debut against Stoke away, wasn't it? And then it was like a few little bits and pieces and everyone was like, he looks a good player. And he was in and he was out and he was left alone. And then it was like, we've got a player here. Whereas Galloway was like, pfft. And everyone was like, he's the next big thing. And same with Sandro. Garbutt was a little bit like that. I know we bought him young and it was like, he was only 16. He had a couple of years. But then, again though, it was weird because it was his progression. He come in and he was in and out, but then it was like, we're sending him to Fulham and he's going to be amazing and he's going to come back and be ready to get to challenge Baines, but then he breaks his leg and then circumstance takes over. So I think a big part of this is when you get a young player, have some idea what you're going to do with them, know how you're going to use them over the first year.
But I suppose that the argument to that, or not the argument, but like another side to that will be, all of those lads have got ability. The 3 players you've just spoken about have got ability. And they've all been at Finch Farm with a management team. And yet not one of them has managed to force their way in to the reckoning. So what are they doing in training? What is their level in training? Now, OK, Garbutt's gone out to Oxford, but last summer, before we got Luca Dean, we only had Baines. And Baines had had a few injuries.
But what about when we had Garbutt and Martina was... See, again, though, was more progression. We only had Martina, and Garbutt wasn't registered to play in Europe. So you're basically saying straight to the manager's gone, no, we'll leave that. Like, forget about that. And it's like, but you got to think about these things, and you got to give these kids.
But no one gave him a go, did they? No one. Even in the Premier League, we had a right back who was like the 3rd or 4th choice right back playing left back rather than a lad. Now, OK. I criticised Garbutt in the past defensively because I don't think he's great defensively. I think he's fabulous going forward. His left foot's brilliant. I think he's really good at getting forward, and that's what when he was playing well for us, that was a big thing. He was like Baines going forward, and set piece was brilliant. But I would rather have seen him in our first team than Cuca Martina, who had to stop and turn back. But that Martina done a job defensively, don't get me wrong, but it just didn't make sense to me that a 3rd and 4th choice right back was our left back. And we had a lad there, and Galloway's another one. Galloway come back, and you're like, why is he not even being considered? What's happened to him? Where now Marco Silva could sit here and people before him, like Allardyce or whatever, could sit there and go, the lads you're talking about aren't good enough, though.
No, I know.
That's fair enough, isn't it? You can't say anything. But what I question is those lads that have 10 minutes down the road from us every day, where the manager's there to impress. What are they doing? Why are other lads being given half a go? Or why is someone who... Is it literally just down to a manager going... Why did Sam Allardyce think Cuca Martina?
Maybe it is that. Maybe it is, though, the fact that we've had so many managers so quickly.
They don't know whether they're coming or going.
It's just like, for a player, and then going on loan for Brendan Galloway. Started brilliantly under Moyes. Got torn to shreds.
Martinez.
Martinez. Got torn to shreds in the Stoke game.
Shaqiri,
Shaqiri took him to the cleaners. And then his confidence took a massive dip. And then before you know it, the manager who brought you to the club is leaving. You go on loan. Tony Pulis has going to do this and doesn't play yet. And next minute you're like, well, I've just wasted an entire year of my career at not my club. Manager's gone. Come back to another manager. He's like, I haven't got time for you. Go to Sunderland. That's a disaster.
And it was a disaster. Wasn't
so there's a lot of times circumstances is and
a lot of lessons to be learned, and I think they are being learned now. Yeah. And we're also being burnt by them as well. Still,
what's sad about Galloway more than anything is that he left MK Dons around the same time Dele Alli left.
Just a bit after it, yeah.
And Dele Alli ends up playing in the Champions League, and this kid's going to Luton.
And yeah, Carl Robinson at the time was saying Galloway could be playing for England in 3 years.
It just shows you've got to have a clear path for them, and they've got to play their part, and things have got to drop in. But
you've got to have a bit of luck. But to be a Premier League footballer, it's difficult, man. It is difficult, and you have to be up here all the time, especially as a young player. You've got to be.
If anything, it shows you how good John Stones is.
But it does. Well, although he's not playing now, he's sub. But it does. But he also had a manager who put him in and let him go and believed, and to his own detriment in the end.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll give him a free pass.
Yeah.
Whereas who knows if Galloway would have been left in instead of being taken out, if Martinez would have rolled it out a bit.
Going back to what we said before, he wasn't a left back.
No, he was a centre back.
So we'll never know. Unless hopefully he goes and he makes his way back up the league.
He's only 23, 22, 23, so he's got years, hasn't he? 2 years he could be back in the Premier League. But
there you go.
Let's hope Sandro smashes it at Valladolid and gets his confidence up.
The ball onto the back of the net and not like Winders.
Well, just get his confidence up, because I still think there's a footballer in there. I don't know whether he's probably not cut out for the Premier League, but he's definitely still a decent footballer in there. And let's hope he does it.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments anyway on Sandro, on Galloway, on Garbett, anyone we've mentioned, and who is the biggest drain of Everton's financial.
Who's the biggest flop, really? That's it. No, but that's it, isn't it? That's the word people describe, don't they? You're calling him a drain. I'd prefer to call him a flop than a drain.
Okay. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you later.